Greeting interwebs, it's Jackie K. Welcome for another edition of Gaming Show. Not exactly sure what we have to talk about today, but I'm gonna wing it and hope everything comes back to me as I play around with it all. I'm assuming the reason we're still here is because there's still stuff we gotta do with Growlithe. Perfect. All we have to really do left is catch 3 more. So why don't we just wrap that up? And let's see, Goomy, just... all I have to do with Goomy is see you do acid spray way more than 3 times. But we'll manage. It's probably just another Burmy, but I gotta address this. This could be an area where Apons come out of the tree, and that's like one of the things that are just dragging me down. Things that feel like I never can do, no matter how many times I do them. So, of course, it'd be a Burmy. Of course, it'd be what I don't need. Because why would it be? You know, I'm random tangent, but I've been thinking about doing more editorial style videos for a while now. It's mostly finding the time to actually. I even have ideas for scripts, but trying to figure out which one would actually work best as my first script is a whole other ordeal in of itself. What was I gonna say before I was about to get sold by Pokemon? Oh yeah. Lessons Arceus, like... the issue with editorials was trying to find what to make my first. The first one's the hard one, because I want to come up with an idea for a script that's small, quick, and easy. Easy for me. But everything that I've started script-wise are things I want to say for bigger projects. Or like, in the case of Dark Dawn, like I have a lot of Golden Suns. I have a lot of ideas for Golden Sun related topics, but I feel like I should wait until I do make a video that just goes over each of the individual games before going more into individual concepts of said games, if that makes sense. So like, the whole Dark Dawn's alternate, the whole idea for an alternate story to Dark Dawn, I would prefer to talk about the original Dark Dawn before doing that as a video. And before talking about Dark Dawn as a video, I like to revisit Golden Sun 1 and 2 and make videos on them as well. There's a lot of stuff like that that's kind of just like... those are examples of ideas I have for possible editorial videos, but things that I can't do for my first editorial video. I'm trying to think of something that I'm passionate about, but not to the point of that I could condense it down to a 10-minute or so video. And my mind's just wandering around and all that. Shoot, I had the idea of what to talk about leading off into things right at the beginning of the game show, but then I got distracted by that silly tree there. I might need a minute to recollect my thoughts, because that idea is something that's not going to be coming up for a long time, but I have been thinking more and more seriously about this, so I guess it's just kind of at a point where I wouldn't say anything official yet, but it's more on my mind than not as of late. Why was I thinking about that? I know there was the whole, maybe a good small topic to start with just, Lessons Arceus is over a year old at this point, so it might be a fun idea to actually reflect back on how the game still holds up to this day, even with the existence of 2 other Pokemon games since it. Technically, long story short, I sometimes forget that Diamond and Pearl remakes even existed because those were 2 games that I didn't actually get. Well, I mean, might as well count them as 1 game. I haven't bought 2 different versions of the same exact game in years. Even well before... I can't even remember the last time I actually bought 2 versions of one game. Was that even the first thing I actually did? Even the whole Red and Blue Day games. I would just split the versions between my siblings. Like, I got red, and I believe my sister got blue. I feel like there has been some exceptions, but at this point, like, I pretty much ended up hoarding all the Pokemon games between the two of us anyway, so it's a little harder nowadays to tell apart who owned what. Like, I know I had Sapphire and they had Ruby, but I can't remember if we did the same exact thing with Gold and Silver, or if I actually got both versions of the game. I can't remember if I had both versions of the Gen 2 games all along, or if it was something where, or yet another case of originally only having one of the versions, but as my sister lost interest in the games, I ended up just picking up the other one along the way. Oh shoot. Can't believe I actually ran from you. Oh cool, you actually keep your health from the battle that we just had. I never actually experimented around with that too much. Oh, I meant to choose Thunder Wave. My brain is not on today. Oh well, it's a Mothim. I don't think I actually need to catch one for anything in particular. Yeah. And TBH, the more I think about it, I don't even know if I still have both of the original Gen 2 games. Because I know I did try to sell some Pokemon games a long time ago, and I think I did succeed with one of them. But I couldn't tell you which now, without like digging out all my old games and going through them again. The point being, like, more times than not, I only bothered to get one version of the Pokemon game, and I guess especially when when online became more of a thing. Yeah, because I only had Pearl, and I did eventually buy Platinum and just gave the Pearl copy to one of my other sisters at the time. Can I Ice Fang you and not knock you out when you're level 100? I don't really trust that idea, so I don't think I'll be sticking to it. So like, and as online became more and more a thing, the need to actually to have both versions and trade locally has decreased less and less, so it's like now I definitely have no incentive, or when I say now, I mean by the time like Gen 5 became a thing, there was definitely no incentive to actually try to collect both versions, because if I did want to catch them all, and I didn't always want even, and it wasn't every generation that I even bothered to try to get them all, but the generations that I did care about getting them all, I could just do the trading with people online, especially when as I got more and more prominent in the online scene and had people that I could actually do the trades with. Now, before I go gung-ho after Stantlers for that tree there, yep, I've done everything I really need to with Stantler. Definitely not used to y'all attacking. You see y'all just running away like like that. Let's see. No. Oh, I remember this thing that I wanted to talk about at the beginning of the episode. I remember the very, very first tangent. The whole concept that... One thing I want to bring up in that Legends Arceus editorial when I eventually make it... I love this game, but I feel like it's at its lowest lows when I'm trying to force myself to do something in it. I still remember, like, collecting the Wisp for Spirit Team, and the whole adventure with trying to get every individual unknown for completing the Pokedex. But those Spirit Team Wisps to just get one of each Pokemon to actually beat the endgame with Arceus. The post-endgame, it was like... It's a mystery dungeon effect where... It's technically post-game, but... You could also count it as his It's just like an extension of the main story. The end game of the post-game adventure, as we call it. As I was trying to say, those sucked, and those were probably the lowest lows of the game. And I'm sure if I was trying to do specific research, if I was like rushing myself to 100% all the research tasks, which would involve doing things like getting specific Pokemon out of space-time rifts, getting them to do certain moves, and that those would also be low moments of the game. But since I'm like in no rush to 100%, I feel pretty confident that I'll be pretty much playing this game until the end of time at this point. Cause like I've tried some live streams with Scarlet and Violet just a little earlier today, or should I say this week. I did a live stream which was just nothing but Wonder trading away shiny Pokemon from Pokemon Home. It had its moments, but I don't think I really got as much enough enjoyment out of that stream to ever really do that again. Or at least specifically, it's like, it wasn't bad, but why not just play more of this game instead of having a lesser experience in that game? So, if only to record gaming shows, I'm pretty sure that I'll 100% this game someday. It probably will take another couple years, but someday I'll do all the Pokedex entries. I haven't even bothered with the side quests too much, to be perfectly honest. Like, with how many hours I put into this game, even though I've been done with the main game and even the post-main game for so long, you'd think I'd be a lot further done with all the side quests and all that, but nope. Wait, can I get in the battle with just you without triggering a battle with the Alpha? Because I wouldn't mind a few more excuses to just knock out this acid spray quest. Well, oh, of course there's fog. Well, someday someone will get enough attacks off to knock out the other one. Yeah, I'm just going for all this with no regard to my own personal safety, aren't I? Though, let me double check Gumi, because that looks like it might have been enough to actually be done. And then I have 2 more Hisuian Pokemon that I can shiny hunt to the most optimal way possible. Gumi, Growlithe. All I gotta do is check up with the professor, and all that'll be done. So why don't I go do that before continuing whatever tangent I was getting myself into. Perfect. Those 2 are mastered. Forgot that I even done anything with Tentacruel. That's right, I don't need to do Aqua Tail anymore. It's light style, agile moves in particular. Probably could evolve up a Growlithe and start try to do stuff with Arcanine if I really want, but we're already 20 minutes in. I can think about a more main objective to do in between parts than that. And it does remind me, I did actually save a Rowlet this time, right? Because I know I've been through streams. There we go. I know what I'll do. Something that I should have done months ago, but got way too sidetracked to actually do. Actually finish the Rowlet research. Because this kind of was a weird situation where I was in a cycle of assuming that I had one stored away already, so I released the Rowlets. Realize I have no Rowlets, so I have to wait until I catch more Rowlets. And then I'm just so out in habit of releasing everything as soon as I catch it, because I have everything already, that I completely forget that I need to save a Rowlet. Because all the Rowlets I have are either gone or evolved into not Rowlets. And while I'm on tangents and lost all train of thought, it's been a bit since I've actually Feels like I've done a lot since the last time I talked about Legends Arceus, at least on a gaming show. Why don't I show off a few things that I've gone in between. As you can see here, I finally evolved that Shiny Teddiursa into Ursaluna. I forget the Magikarp was on a gaming show or a live stream. Why don't I just take all these out and talk about them a little bit. So, I've been keeping myself kind of busy, well, since we last met. Most of you are probably familiar with the Grovyle already, because that was on a stream. But I'm pretty sure the Magikarp and Baneri are new and I got them off screen, and I don't know what it is, but I'm not really a fan of Magikarp's lips. You see the shiny Magikarp, but you don't see the gold body, you don't really... I guess what it is, you don't really see it from the front too often. So the yellow-green lips, just really... I'm just really noticing them for the first time. It's a little discerning. The two on the far right, the Carvanha and the Eevee, I wanted to talk about in particular though, because there's a fun story behind them. Maybe if I'm feeling ambitious with the editing, I'll save some... I'll see if I can get some of the clips that I just recorded off my Switch as I talk about it. Because of... Well, I guess like the... I guess the Magikarp and the Baneri have a story too, like... I was hunting for... It was shortly after the Cleaver raid day in Pokemon Go, doing quite a few raids and not getting the shiny Cleaver. So I tried to shiny hunt Cypher in Legends Arceus instead. The only way I know how to shiny hunt, inefficiently. So along the way, I managed to get both this Magikarp and Baneri on the same day. I just found that funny. And the Grovyle was on a live stream where pretty much my only viewer was having a really good shiny luck, to the point where it's actually kind of funny. It's actually more entertaining to just listen to them talk about their shiny hunting stories in chat than it was to actually play the game itself. So that seemed a bit ambitious in and of itself. And last but certainly not least, these two little guys here. One day I just catch up playing the game on my own, and in a space-time rift, I found this adorable little... I was gonna say white fellow, but there's a more accurate name. I'm not sure if I'm thinking of Sceptile, that's a Pokemon, but you know that sort of gradient, or Black and White. But I thought there's a more fancier name that would be slightly more appropriate to Black and White. But the way things look on Black and White television shows. Well, that's a bit of a tangent to go into the fact that, like, I found this little guy in a space-time rift of all things. And in that same space-time rift, I found the shiny Carvanha. And the shiny... or, why am I calling it Carvanha? It's clearly on screen in the lower right corner, Carnivine. Or if I'm really ambitious, Carnivine. Carnivine. There's probably another way you're supposed to pronounce that, but that's the only way coming out of my mouth. As I was saying, that one's relevant because all these other ones, minus the fact that Shiny Charm is a thing, I would consider were flukes. Like, I just stumbled into them by accident because up until this Carnivine, all the shiny Pokemon I found were of Pokedex entries that I have not mastered yet. Except for Carnivine. So, you saw how many shinies I had in the box earlier. It took that many before the whole alleged shiny increase that fully completing, I think it's called master. I keep getting master and complete mixed up because they're essentially the same word in the English dictionary. But the one that's more full, it took me 6, 12, 18, about 24 shinies before I even noticed the effects of both Shiny Charm and a master/completed Pokedex entry. So that's a bit crazy mess in itself. Now that I got that story out of my chest though, I'll meet you all when we're ready to head back out. I forgot the reason that I stopped after I got what I need for the Pokedex for Dialga now. Just the fact that both the moves that it needs to do have only like 5 power points. It's fine. I have Llama Berries. I did bring them with me, right? Yep. More of those than I could possibly ever need. Okay, so maybe today will be the day I finally get my shiny Shinx line. But you know, the thing that I normally would actually lead off the video with, that I never actually did, I never talked about how things are going with the channel. Which was really ironic considering that this is probably June will probably be the 1 month where things are drastically different about the channel. Oh, this might require a little more focus than I gave it credit for. I just love how everything is going great with this whole exchange. Alright, time for horde number 2. It's just Luxrays. Thought it might actually be an alpha, because you can imagine the hype if I got a shiny alpha Luxray, even a Luxio. I think we've wasted a lot of time though. I think it's safe to actually try to take some of these out. Maybe it'll actually give me the angle to actually talk about things. So, with the Golden Sun Donjon playthrough reaching the end, June's probably going to be a bit easier of a month, because we'll be finishing that up, not the first week of June, but the second week. Funny enough, probably exactly when the gaming show is supposed to go up. So, probably by the time you see this dungeon's already over, and after that will be a bit more chill of a month. I've already edited and scheduled the whole Kirby playthrough for that time frame, so that will be what y'all see first, and then I think like then the next week, things are gonna be a bit more relaxed. Like, I don't have any videos planned, minus a single XG video, only because that was already done in advance. And then the last week of the month, I'm just flat out not uploading in general. I probably will keep up with streaming though. I've been fairly consistent with it the past couple weeks, and considering I have a Pikmin playthrough to finish up, I do intend to keep up with it. Because a big reason why I think I'm gonna need some time to just not upload is transitioning from doing a series like Donjon, where the video lengths where I already was cutting them as shorter videos to begin with, but because they were edited stream VODs once upon a time, it also made the editing in and of itself a bit easier. Meanwhile, XG, not only is it like commentated on my own time, usually as live commentary where I have to actually edit the commentary back into the mic. Plus, with all the weeks that I just haven't recorded and or edited in general, not specifically as of late, but there's definitely been some weeks in past months where I haven't edited at all. I kind of feel like it'd be a good time as any to take a break. Ugh. Long story short, I'm transitioning between Let's Plays, so I figured now would be a good time as any to take it a little bit easier with videos. So that's why there's less uploads in this month, and the last week of the month is pretty much no uploads in general. I think I'm going to keep up with streaming, so you'll get to see some stuff from me, at the very least. I think I've had my fill with battling you guys. Weird. I definitely hit you with the sticky glob. You stubborn cat. it feels like I've wasted so much time in this one mass outbreak. I don't even know if I got time to check out anything else. Let's take this route because I should be good with berries, and I don't know if I really need. Oh, cool, Mr. Mime. My favorite thing to try to catch. He says as he catches it effortlessly. Oh, I've already done everything I need to do with Mime Jr. Oh well. I think I did need to catch some more Mr. Mimes casually. I actually do got some pretty exciting news with Dawn of Jin in of itself, but I'm not sure if I should talk about it here, because I've been debating whether or not I should, like, be a little bit more private with those sorts of projects going forward, just because it is technically unofficial. And things have come up over the past couple months that kind of made me reconsider my thoughts on all of that. So I think if going forward I start referring to things like Dawn of Jin as the project or my fan game, or even more vague than that, those would all be reasons why. Now, was it fast style moves or strong style moves I need to do against you? No, I gotta... Nope. The word naughty will never sound quite right, so you might as well just never say it. Now, what was I actually gonna say? There's major progress with my fan game, and I would just recommend checking out the Discord for details on that. Though, I do plan on sharing a bit more about it once the Dawn of Jin version 1 playthrough finishes. Just not on YouTube, so I guess stay tuned to blog posts on my site, or something else more subtle like the Discord. And you'll know what you need to know from there. Was that really all I really had to talk about? Like, I had this whole big spiel in the beginning of, like, I'm gonna do some recording, I should record this Game and Chill, because that should be my first priority. But I wasn't sure if I really had the energy to commentate, nor was unsure if I had the desire to actually talk about vlog-like things and personal ordeals in general. So I wasn't sure if I would have the energy to commentate Game and Chill, and I wasn't sure if I would actually be able to commentate Game and Chill. They sound similar, but I swear those are two different things. So I actually started with recording some post-commentary for XG. I didn't even finish it. I was like 6 minutes into the commentary and I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm not quite sure if I feel up to getting into the storytelling like part of Game and Chill, but I definitely have the energy to commentate now. Which has ironically been completely drained from recording this Game and Chill. Point aside, I find irony in of that because I immediately ended up just beginning the episode instead of talking about the usual introductory stuff of updates regarding the channel. I went immediately into tangents, something I didn't think I would be able to do at the start of this video. And it just goes to show that sometimes you don't know if you can do something until you just try it. I guess that's everything. It's unrelated to the stuff that I want to talk about, but I had some time off during a work day, so I was finally able to take care of that stuff, that medical stuff that I feel like I at least vaguely brought up in previous Game and Chills. The unfortunate thing is that the timing of it all kind of isn't that great, so it's all kind of timed to all be on the same week, next week. So I have multiple days off from to take care of medical stuff. Even though the appointments are kind of short. So there was some self-doubt of if I'd actually be able to make use of that time. And the worst part is I had time off later on, already scheduled for later on in the month, so I'm kind of now conflicted. Hold on, Sneasel, you okay? Okay, for some reason from this angle it looks like you don't have eyes, so I'll admit I was a little concerned. But you're fine. I don't know. But now it's because I had to take extra time off to take care of that. I've been debating canceling some of my other time off that I already have scheduled just to make sure that I actually have my time off spread out and not too much in one place. I swear, if we're actually able to get through everything when they just got done saying that we weren't gonna do that because I spent way too much time with the Lux Rays, well, that'd be funny. And I think that's about everything that I really want to talk about. I think I'm gonna just finish up this massive mass outbreak, because we're almost at the end of it anyways, and then call it a part. Even will be about the general hour recording length that Game Show typically is before I edit it down. So that's pretty nice in of itself. I was really hoping not to get your attention so I could figure out what the heck I need to do with Gible. I was gonna say, do I even have an Ice type with me? But of course I have an Ice type. It's the one Pokemon that I've actually been trying to get the full evolution for. Problem is, you're also part Dark, or part Rock, which I'm sure is gonna have a wonderful time with all these ground dragon types roaming around the place. But sure, let's give it a shot. And immediately leads off with an Earth Power. Of course. Yes, use all the weak moves. I thought I was gonna miss after all. Nah, miss. Wouldn't that be silly? Oh, of course I'm out of power points for Mountain Gale. Of course. And I keep having the temptation to talk about Pokemon card stories, but don't think I really haven't had done anything with cards of late. Or at least there hasn't been any interesting stories. Like, I basically went off last week without cards. And, like, just today was probably the first time I picked any up in a hot minute. You know what? Ooh, that could have been ugly. I was gonna say, I think I might be done trying to catch you all the hard way. And finding it all. I think I'm just embracing for what it is. Just catch you all one by one by one. At least you drop mud so I can hypothetically not have to worry about wasting the sticky globs. Did I mention that mud's probably the most valuable resource in Legends Arceus? At least it feels like it sometimes. I had my first major... I think the last time I bought cards, I just bought like a single pack. So this is probably the most major... Today is probably the most major... Oh, and of course the rain is gone. Today was the first major card outing that I've had in a good long while, so... Well... That takes care of all the rain and that. I'll just pick up these bags as I'm closing things off. Sorry, I'm kind of feeling a bit... I think I used up all the energy that I thought I had commentating this gaming show, so I'm kind of just worn out and beat at the moment. Worth it. Just worth it. Thank you all for tuning in for this edition of Gaming Show. Next time we meet should be a new month with more adventures in this game. just with the whole nature of it all, I don't know why I'm trying to give it a traditional outro. There's not really an outro to give. At least that was a Pokemon that actually needed to jump out of a tree. Not the Aipom like I was hoping for, but still. Anyways, before I remember an actual reason to keep the show going, I'll see you all next time. Take care.